जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ
ॐ
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ
ॐ
नमो भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये।
जयमुदीरयेत्।
शृण्वतां
शृण्वता स्वकथा
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनं
यन्तस्तो
हृदयन्तस्ततो
हि
भद्राणि
अभद्राणि
विदुनोति
विदुनोति
सुरक्षताम्
सुरत्सताम्।
नष्टप्रायेषु
प्रप्रायेषु
भद्रेषु
भद्रेषु
नित्यं
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
सेवया भगवते
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
श्लोके
भक्ते भवति
भक्तिर्भागवते
नैष्टिके।
नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा। So today we are going to go through Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, 27th chapter, 15th verse. Please repeat after me. Te Chandaveganucharaha
ते चण्डवेगानुचराः
Puranjana Yada
पुरञ्जनपुरं यथा
Hartum Arebire Tatra
हर्तुम् आरेभिरे तत्र
Pratyashedat Prajagaraha.
प्रत्यषेदत्प्रजागरः।
Please go ahead, Mataji.
ते चण्डवेगानुचराः
ते चण्डवेगानुचराः
पुरञ्जनपरं यत्पुरं यदा
पुरञ्जनपुरं यदा
हर्तुम् आरेभिरे यत्र तत्र
कर्तुम् आरेभिरे तत्र
प्रत्यषेदात् प्रजागरः।
प्रत्यषेदत् प्रजागरः।
ते चण्डवेगा अनुचारः।
ते
ते चण्डवेगानुचराः
चण्डवेगानुचराः
पुरञ्जनपुरा यदा
पुरञ्जनपुरं
पुरञ्जनपुरं
यदा
यदा
हर्तुम् आरेभिरे तत्र
हर्तुम्
कर्तुम्
आरेभिरे
आरेभिरे
तत्र
तत्र
प्रत्ययाशासेदात् प्रजागरः।
प्रत्यषेदत्
प्रत्यषेदत्
प्रजागरः।
प्रजागरः।
ते चण्डवेगानुचरः
ते
ते
चण्डवेगानुचराः
चण्डवेगानुचरः
पुरञ्जनपुरं यदा
पुरञ्जनपुरं
पुरञ्जनपुरं
यदा
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 हस्तुम् आरेभिरे तत्र
हर्तुम्
हर्तुम्
आरेभिरे
आरेभिरे
तत्र
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 प्रत्यसेदात् प्रजागरः
प्रत्यषेधत् प्रजागरः
वेगानुचारा चारा
ते चण्डवेगानुचरा
पुरञ्जनपुरं यदा
पुरञ्जनपुरं यदा
तुम अरेबिरे तत्र
हर्तुम् आरेभिरे तत्र
प्रत्यषेधत्र जागरः
प्रत्यषेधत् प्रजागरः
Okay. Let's now move on to the synonyms. They, all of them.
They, all of them.
Chandavega of Chandavega.
Chandavega of Chandavega.
Anucharaha, followers.
Anucharaha, followers.
Puranjana of King Puranjana.
Puranjana of King Puranjana.
Puram, city.
Puram, city.
Yada, when.
Yada, when.
Hartum, to plunder.
Hartum, to plunder.
Are bire, began.
Are bire, began.
Tatra, there.
Tatra, there.
Pratyashedat, defended.
Pratyashedat, defended.
Prajagaraha, the big serpent.
Prajagaraha, the big serpent.
Thank you, Mataji. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. When King Gandharva Raja Chandavega and his followers began to plunder the city of Puranjana, a snake with 5 hoods began to defend the city. Purport: when one is sleeping, the life air remains active in different dreams. The 5 hoods of the snake indicate that the life air is surrounded by 5 kinds of air known as prana, apana, vyana, udana, and samana. When the body is inactive, the prana or the life air is active. Up to the age of 51, one can actively work for sense gratification, but after the 50th year, one's energy decreases. Although one can with great strain work for 2 or 3 more years, perhaps up to the 55th year. Thus, the 55th year is generally taken by government regulations as the final year for retirement. The energy which is fatigued after 50 years is figuratively described herein as a serpent with 5 hoods. Hare Krishna. Okay, now let's offer our humble obeisances to our acharyas and the lordships, seeking their blessings to enable us to understand this verse as they intended. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna-preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा. Okay. Before getting into this verse, let me briefly summarize so that we will have some continuity while we read this verse. So now Narada Mahamuni, he taking becoming compassionate over King Prachina Barhishat. He he comes over to King Prachina Barhishat to actually try to explain to him as to the type of life that he's leading, which which is actually which is actually a materialistic life, and the compassion in Narada Mahamuni's heart was to actually um, inspire King Prachina Barhishat to step into the spiritual path, um, and attain the use the human form of life in order to attain the ultimate goal of life, that is to break free from the cycle of birth and death, and um, return back to the spiritual world to actually serve Sri Radha Krishna. So instead of directly preaching to him, he begins to tell the story of King Puranjana, and how he starts this. How he starts is he says that King Puranjana was looking for a suitable place to live, and he is actually attracted to a place with 9 gates. That was very beautiful. And he enters into that particular city with 9 gates. Allegorically, that means that Narada Mahamuni was allegorically referring that particular place with 9 gates to our body. And within this city, King Puranjana comes upon a beautiful woman, which is allegorically our intelligence. And both of them are attracted to each other. They exchange. Uh, uh, King Puranjana asks the woman about her, and Puranjani also explains herself. And both are attracted, and they start their life together. And uh, this by this marriage, Narada Mahamuni is actually allegorically referring to our mind and senses actually accepting to no the soul, the jiva soul accepting to use the intelligence, use the intelligence to actually navigate the mind and senses, whatever sense objects and are brought in via the senses and the mind. The soul is accepting to use the intelligence to actually decide what to use and what to reject. Um, Now, while they were living, the main sense gratification that King Puranjana was enjoying was the sexual pleasure. Um, but he was not satisfied with the amount of sexual pleasure that he was getting from using the intelligence. So he is actually given a dream state where he starts enjoying with multiple women. Um, and then that also doesn't seem to be sufficient. So Puranjana actually one night he leaves Puranjani, and he steps out into the forest all by himself. Allegorically, Narada Mahamuni actually um, tells about is telling about the youthful state of our lives, wherein we keep our intelligence aside and then just use our mind and senses to enjoy life in a very unregulated, whimsical manner. So that is what Narada Mahamuni had allegorically uh, um, mentioned. Then after, but King Puranjana, after enjoying like that in an unregulated, whimsical manner, he he gets tired and exhausted, and he returns back. And when he returns back, he sees the intelligence, the Puranjani, very angry, but he somehow pleases and pacifies her, and he starts his life with her again. So this is Narada Mahamuni seems to have allegorically pointed to the married life, where that part of married life where we beget children and start taking responsibilities, I believe. So so after getting back with Puranjani, he gives birth. They give birth to some 1,100 sons and 101 daughters. Okay.
Can
Um, I'm not sure if I told that number correctly, but
understand, I think.
yeah, 1,100 sons and 110 daughters. They beget them, and these children, Puranjana had got as per the Vedic injunctions only. So so the children were all good ones. They were not Varna Shankara or anything. So the children were gentle and well behaved, which indicates that Puranjana's life was a good one, and it had included religious activities. That is because King Prachina Barhishad also, if you would have seen, he was including yagas and yajnas as part of his life. He was a pious person only. Being a pious person, he was situated in the platform of goodness. He was influenced by the mode of goodness prominently. So that is why Narada Mahamuni had given this lifestyle of Puranjana as an example, so that King Prachina Barhishat could relate. But then in the next verse, Narada Mahamuni continues that these sons and grandsons, they were actually plundering the material opulences of Puranjana, in the sense they were using Puranjana's material opulence, whatever he had acquired through his pious activities. And not only the sons and grandsons, but Puranjana was also attached to those material opulence. He also wished to enjoy them along with his family members. Allegorically, this represents our lifestyle also, right? Like we work hard to actually accumulate wealth and other material opulences like a um, house and clothes and jewels and whatnot. So we try to acquire them, and we are also attracted by them, and we would like to be we do not want them to diminish in our life. So we work hard to actually acquire more of them. Um, this can be actually attributed to our ahankara and mamakara. And there is this famous verse where lust is the root cause of whatever we are doing. When lust is fulfilled, it's all right. If it is not fulfilled, okay, when it is fulfilled, it leads to hankering after it, as well as more attachment towards it as well. So we want more of it, and we want to actually retain whatever we have acquired. But if lust becomes unfulfilled, that is when it turns into anger, and then it makes us lose our senses and slip into the mode of ignorance. But that doesn't happen in the case of Puranjana or Prachina Barhishat. And maybe that is because Prachina Barhishat was a pious person. Um, so um, so in this way, Natha Mahamuni points out that Narada Mahamuni, through verse 4.27.11, he points out to King Prachina Barhishat that Puranjana was also engaged in sacrifices which involved animal killing, as he was worshipping demigods, forefathers, and social leaders, as per the procedures mentioned in the Vedas. Um, and Narada Mahamuni actually points out these are karma kandic activities. They will give you material benefits, and they will enhance your sense gratification. And then in this particular verse, Srila Prabhupada actually points to Veda Vyasa as well. He actually authored many scriptures. He separated the Vedas into four. He authored the Upanishads, Puranas. And Srila Prabhupada says in all these scriptures, Veda Vyasa had actually spiked out various spiritual activities that were directed towards glorification or pleasing of the demigods, that the living entities can take advantage of to enhance their situation for sense enjoyment in the material world. So, and this is the main reason why Vedavyasa was actually not completely satisfied even after authoring so many spiritual scriptures. This was pointed out to Vedavyasa by Narada Mahamuni only. And when he had actually authored the Amala Purana Srimad Bhagavatam, is when his heart was satisfied. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedavyasa had spiked out the lives of devotees, and the nature of the devotees was that they were glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they were actually turning from their materialistic way of life to the spiritual way of life. And they were giving up their sense gratificatory engagements and desires, and they were switching their desire to actually perform activities in such a way that it would please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a book full of such devotees and their activities in glorification of Sri Krishna. So as long as we are um, so, um, so in this verse, Prachina Barhishat, he was in that karma kandic state, and Narada Mahamuni indirectly he was wanting King Prachina Barhishat to shift to a bhakti yogi. And not to actually climb the ladder like karma kanda jnana, go towards karma yoga or Jnana Yoga and then come to Bhakti Yoga. He was not wanting that, but he just pointed out that King Prachina Bahishad was at the Karma Kandik level of that yoga ladder. And then in the next verse, Narada Mahamuni actually he points out to the time factor now. So until now, Narada Mahamuni's story was actually revealing to King Prachina Barhishad about um, the desire of the material desires of the jiva soul. It's ardent desire to enjoy the material world, um, or the material energy of Shri Krishna, the material objects thrown in front of him. And in order to enhance your material enjoyment, you perform a lot of pious activities that helps you to enjoy the material opulence in a more satisfactory manner, I guess. And then uh, and he also pointed and we also got to understand the influence of the modes of nature, um, which is also aiding or disrupting the way we enjoy the material opulences. Now, Narada Mahamuni is actually introducing the time factor. So, from verse 12 onwards, King Puranjana eventually he attains old age. Now, his bodily instruments were not very suitable for satisfactory sense gratifications anymore, but his desire for sense gratification was still intense. Equally was his attachment to his possessions accumulated so far. So, uh, via this verse, Narada Mahamuni is pointing to our situation when we become old, when time passes, the soul is still intact. There is no impact of time on the soul, but the body that it is embodied in, that starts deteriorating. So anything in the material world, it is subject to change, and it deteriorates, and it is very temporary. Um, so that is what is happening with the Puranjana. Uh, so the soul not being impacted by time and all, its desire is still intense, and its attachment for whatever material opulence it has, it is still intact. But the body, it is not suitable enough for enjoying those sense gratificatory objects. And here, Srila Prabhupada actually points out to Hiranyakashipu's example. He also wanted to live forever, so he actually performed the penances to actually get the benediction of immortality itself, so that he can continue to enjoy his desires eternally. But that is not the law of the material world. Whatever be the up to Lord Brahma, they can only bless you with benediction to actually enjoy your material opulences until your time is up. So, in the case of Hiranyakashipu, he was given the topmost benediction, but then his time also had to end, and it was ended by Lord Narsimha Dev. Um, And okay, so in this ardent desire, people might not be able to accept this truth. So Srila Prabhupada has pointed out that there are acharyas who have realized the truth. They show us the truth. We'll have to actually place our uh, in our intense desire. We are blindfolded, but then we will have to uh, trust the acharyas who have actually realized the truth, and then somehow try to break free of our desire and surrender and accept this universal truth that um, the time factor is really very powerful, and one day um, our our enjoyment of the material opulences that needs to come to an end. Um, and if we are intelligent enough, we'll have to try to inquire about our true self and our true home, um, and try to give up on the desires and the um, our desire for enjoyment at some point in time. Then in the next verse, Narada Mahamuni, from 12th verse onwards, he's slowly introducing the time factor. He's introducing King Prachina Barhishat to the fact that the body um, begins to give up. And he is bringing in the story of another king, Chandavega, who is the king of Gandharva Loka, and he has 360 Gandharva soldiers in his uh, uh, in his kingdom. And allegorically, this represents the 360 days in a year. And uh, and in the next shloka, Narada Mahamuni also says that Chandavega not only had Gandharvas, 360 Gandharvas, each of those soldiers had Gandharvis also, which allegorically represents the day and night portion of the time factor. Um, And Srila Prabhupada in these verses, he had spiked out these allegorical meanings. That is, time spent in sense gratification means time has passed with momentary benefits or happiness. That is, when you're spending time in sense gratification, that is when you will feel yourself to be mortal. That is, the sense gratificatory happiness is what keeps getting reduced because your body is not able to support you as much to enjoy those sense gratificatory objects. Okay. And when your body was supporting also, that happiness would be just momentary, and it would be giving momentary benefits only. You will be actually um, chasing after one sense gratificatory object after another, as supplied by Mahamaya. So that is why in one of the Bhagavad Gita shlokas it is mentioned that the path of a materialist is irresolute. And it is multiforked also. But the time spent in devotional service instead, uh, it gets us close to our immortal or eternal existence. Um, in the spiritual world. So the happiness that devotional service gives, it doesn't diminish with time. It actually increases with time, and it doesn't. It is not lost. Whatever benefits you gain from performing devotional activities, it is actually accumulative. Life after life also, there is no time limit for time does not destroy the benefits of devotional service, and even eventually it gets us close to breaking free from the cycle of birth and death, and going back home. This is what Srila Prabhupada has brought out in this particular verse. And in the next verse, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that in the material on the material side, um, uh, we are trying to actually enhance our sense enjoyment. That is how we are actually fighting against the time factor. Is we are trying to actually build machines like today we have machines like the washing machine, dishwasher, and all, which is actually reducing the washing and the washing times, and washing clothes and washing vessels is the most um, frustrating tasks in our material life, and man has found machines for that. That has freed up a lot of our time, but then um, that is also an illusion, because these machines also, they are also made of matter, and like our bodies, they also deteriorate, they need maintenance, so they actually cause additional work for you instead of actually reducing your work. And that freedom, so that is one way of thinking, and the other and the other aspect is, if you have support to actually support you, help you maintain those machines, and you get a good machine and it lasts without giving trouble, then the other problem is, still there are many material objects being thrown at you, and you run behind even um, uh, uh, more endeavor to achieve more um, pleasure from those material objects. So um, and chasing after material pleasure like that, your life ends, and then you get another body, and in that body also you will be doing the same thing. You will be desiring to enjoy sense objects, and you will be working hard towards achieving that end. And um, and that is why Prahlad Maharaja, he describes this process as punah punascharvita charvanana, charvananam. So materialistic life means chewing the chewed again and again, endlessly, and this is why we are being told that we ought to at a particular point in time uh, work towards breaking free from the cycle of birth and death, because in the materialistic life you are just repeating the same thing. You're desiring um, sense and for sense gratification, and you're chasing after the sense objects that are being presented in front of you. And until now, from Prachina Barhishat's King Prachina Barhishat's life, or King Puranjana's life, since they were pious people, they had included pious activities in their life, so that was enabling them to actually enjoy their senses um, in a more opulent and in a more opulent and comfortable manner. So we should at least be the lesson that we learn is, if we want to enjoy the material world, at least we should be doing karma kandic activities. At least we shouldn't be leading animalistic life. But we seem to be degrading towards the animalistic life area. So that lust could actually turn into wrath and push us into the mode of ignorance at any moment. So that is another danger that we face. But then Narada Mahamuni, people like Narada Mahamuni, pure devotees, they actually are compassionate. They will be actually reaching out to reaching out to you if you were a pious person, and they and when they stop by, it's wise to actually accept the fact of life and take to the spiritual path. Spiritual path in the sense, start by doing devotional activities which will actually open your eyes to the fact that materialistic life means you're just chewing the chewed again and again. That is, you're desiring for more sense pleasure over and over again, which is actually getting you body after body. You're taking birth and you're dying and getting another body to again enjoy, which is never ending. So this is the summary so far. And through these verses, actually, the urgency is also being spiked out. Urgency in the sense, a time factor. It waits for nobody. Uh, it's very harsh. When your time is as the time is passing, your body will deteriorate, and at a particular time, at a particular point in time, you will have to exit this body. So so the urgency is brought forth when the time factor is explained. But all in this particular verse, verse 15, uh, Narada Mahamuni is saying that when King Gandharva Raja Chandavega and his followers began to plunder the city of Puranjana, a snake with 5 hoods began to defend the city. So you remember we talked about the senses. Um, that is, we talked about the sense objects, which are the source for our sensual pleasure. Then we uh, not we, Puranjani and Narada Mahamuni also. They told about the sense objects, which are the source of our sense pleasures. Then the senses working as well as the knowledge senses, which actually bring in the objects to the mind. And using the intelligence, we actually choose. Uh, we choose which one would give us the maximum pleasure or desire fulfillment for the soul. So that is the path. That is the path for sense enjoyment. But all this is actually when the material body is starting to deteriorate, it is the prana that there is this vital force. Life air, which is actually aiding the body, aiding the body, or it is keeping it active and alive. And Srila Prabhupada says that this prana shakti is actually active even when the body is inactive. So as the body is deteriorating, the prana shakti also it tries to actually help it, and it helps the body uh, until the 50th year. Yeah, there will be no problem with its with the life air's support. The body will function just fine. But after 50 years, um, uh, the prana shakti also can't do anything. Your your energy levels will actually go down. But with a little bit of strain and willpower, you can extend being very active for another 5 years. So that is why Srila Prabhupada says that is why the retirement age was fixed as 55 in India, I guess. So the material world will also take your services until your body is fit and you're able to do things actively um, in serving each other's material needs, material pleasures. So that is what has been brought out by Srila Prabhupada also in this particular purport, not a big one. Okay, and it is 7:53. I thought I'll not be able to speak anything today, but I wanted to actually read up on the five pranas, the prana, apana, vyana, udana, and samana. I stumbled upon this particular explanation in Bhagavad Gita Shloka 2.17. Looks like in Mundaka Upanishad, the measurement of the atomic spirit soul is explained in um, relative to the uh, life force, I guess. The soul is atomic in size and it can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the five kinds of air: prana, apana, vyana, samana, and udana. And this atomic soul is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the five kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. So, how I understood it was that the all these faculties of the um, all these faculties that we have in our body, they are for material enjoyment. But when when your desire for material enjoyment uh, is diminished, that is, the soul is purified, that is when its spiritual influence is exhibited. Its power is exhibited. Until then, it is the power of you are actually acting with the power of the body. That is the sense organs, mind, intelligence, and the life force. And then I just stumbled upon this picture also where it might not be an authoritative source, but then still, Udana, its physical location is throat to head, it seems. The functions that life air does are physical senses, mental strength, speech, chakra vishuddhi. And then prana, its physical location is diaphragm. If you are interested in it, you can actually Google and look at it. I was not much interested in these life forces, other than the fact that Srila Prabhupada is saying that the life force also aids the soul in its material enjoyment. But when the soul is purified, its spiritual influence is actually exhibited, and that spiritual power, that is unlimited and eternal, and it doesn't deteriorate or anything. It actually enhances your happiness as time progresses. I'll stop here.
You can read the next statement, Mata. That's important. Yeah. Here
Oh,
only in this verse.
yeah. Oh, the Hatha Yoga system.
Yeah. What Prabhupada is saying, that's important. Yeah, read that.
Oh, okay. The Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kinds of air encircling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures. Not for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is important. So yeah, it's like basically if you see that in Prabhupada says that 5 types of air,
Mm-hmm.
The atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air, and that air, when the soul is purified from the contamination of 5 kinds of material air. So that is what the spiritual existence. So basically, the Hatha Yoga system is the process to purify this prana, apana, dhyana, samana, and different types of airs which are exist within our body, and to come to to purify our soul and come to the spiritual platform. That's what it's. Yeah, it's very important point.
Expose the soul's true power. And not so the soul is actually illusioned into believing that its power, it can enjoy its desire using this material body and its components, but it needs to come to the awareness that it is more powerful than that.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, huh? Very nice explanations, Maheshwari.
And thank you, Mataji. All Krishna's and Srila Prabhupada's grace only. I had not prepared much for today.
No, it's very nicely brought out a lot of things. And I'm pretty much shocked when we hear like people retired at 50 at one time and 55 is the highest one can go. Even in India now, I think the retirement age has been increased to 60 or something like that. But at least in India, there is a retirement age. In this country, there is no such thing as a retirement age. People can work till they drop dead, which is not a good thing. In a way, in India, they kind of force people to retire at a certain age, which in some cases.
Not how about government jobs here? They also work whenever till they want, or they have a retirement age.
No, there is no retirement age in the
Federal jobs,
US. No.
federal jobs, they don't have a retirement age.
I don't think they have a retirement age from what I know. You can work as long as you want. I mean, most people in this country are stick to the age 65 because that's when they get Medicare, and and you can collect Social Security at 62. So some people can retire at 62. So most people hit the retirement age at 65 because that's when they can get Medicare. And because everybody wants medical benefits, you can't live without medical benefits in this country. So generally, there is like a 62 and 65 are marks for retirement for many people in this country. But there is no forced retirement age that you have to retire. You can work till for all your life if you want.
But the university professors, they do never retire. They keep on working because they do not have to go every day, just a couple of days, couple of hours. So I have a lot
Yeah,
of
professors
friends.
are the worst. Yeah,
Huh?
some of them should not be working.
Yeah,
And they work till they're like, 75,
they
80
do not
sometimes.
retire. They just keep
Yeah,
on
even
working.
doctors. I've seen doctors working like 1 day a week, 2 day a week, even at much great, even when they are close to 80.
Yeah, I mean, it's all due to the system here, right? Because the system has, the system is like that. You have to work, otherwise, the
Right,
medicals,
right. Even in India now,
all
like
these things,
forcing people to retire at
insurance.
60. Yeah, makes it difficult, Rasraj. You know what I'm saying? Some people probably need the money and are forced to retire, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I
And,
know that
and even
they made a system with that.
right, and even in
People
this
has to.
country, sometimes people are the need the material life has become so difficult that people have to work harder and harder as it becomes Kali Yuga progresses. You know, it says in the Bhagavatam, right? The masters will make the workers work to death.
Mm.
You know, in as the Kali Yuga progresses, that people who are in charge will be just exploiting people who are, you know, the worker people too much. So, but ideally, like it says in the Bhagavatam, after 50 years, one should concentrate completely on spiritual life and at least make some progress before they die and understand the purpose of human life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, a thought actually spiked into my brain. Actually, that retirement age would have been fixed, thinking, caring about the people, but then now nobody cares about what happens to the people. And then I think fixing the retirement age like that would actually cap this. Running after money's value is actually decreasing like left
I
and
know,
right.
but capping the retirement at 50 also makes life difficult for people in Kali Yuga, because in Kali Yuga, you know, people can't afford to retire at 50. In the days, you know, in the Vedic days, you could actually, you know, most of your responsibility was done by 50. People married early. The whole system was kind of set in such a way that you've pretty much wound up your material life by 50. Now it's not the case. You know, you might have kids in college at 50, you know, in a couple of kids in college at 50. You can't really afford to retire at 50 the way lifestyle is set up in today's world, you know.
Hmm.
So the 50 is a great example if the lifestyle is set in such a way, you know.
The lifestyle. No, the who is actually earning that much of money, Mataji? It's all those people in that topmost position, the business people and the
Right.
politicians. They are the
Otherwise,
ones
yeah.
who, th-
If
so when they keep working longer, then the others also have to follow suit, and your lifestyle is being messed up because you want to actually get those positions, those top positions. So for that, you're
One
delaying your family thing. So it's a roller
one
coaster
thing.
ride here.
Yeah, one thing. Yes, you know, there's there, but what we should do, you know, that's why we need to plan accordingly, like the demand, right? Yeah, see, for example, one, as you mentioned, if you one wants to leave with like with enjoying a lot of things, then they need the money. At the age of 50, 60, 70, else they need money. So for what we can plan, so we can plan it like that, the simple life, so that we need not to work longer time, or hard, like up to long time, right? We can take whatever you said, right? The minimum retirement, right? Like where uh, we can get the benefits, work till that, then focus. Otherwise, what happens if we work like that? I mean, we don't get enough time for our bhakti process. Bhakti is our sadhana. Yeah, one may say that we are doing bhakti from now. So what's the big deal? See, the way we are doing bhakti, it's just not the pure bhakti, right? Like, think about that. Most of the time, we are engaging in all different activities, right? We want to. It's not a pure. We doing just to keep our sadhana active, but if you take a retirement at certain age, then we can focus more. That's what we see our fathers. My father is a teacher. He retired at the age of 60. Now he had time. Now he's, I think, 77 or something. So 17 years. So he spent his life, doing, concentrating on other things and taking, because see, he has no, still he took all the responsibility of making all of us, you know, giving proper education and everything like that. So that's what we should think. I know because in the US the system is
scary part.
like that.
No, the
Sorry,
scary
Matesh.
part is the cost of living, Prabhu. They are changing they are increasing the cost of your basic foodstuff. They are increasing the cost of healthcare. So those
I know
two
there are so
things
many things.
are making it very hard for.
Exactly,
That's
exactly. I
scaring
mean,
people.
healthcare in this country is completely out of control. Just your medicines, cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah, India is closely
Exactly. Yeah,
following
that's
suit,
correct.
is what I noticed now when I went.
I mean, India is way better than the US, I'll tell you. And actually, healthcare is improving in India and it's way better than the US. But maybe it is getting worse. I don't know. Maybe they are also increasing prices. But
Yeah.
in
No,
America,
Oh, I
they're
went
also
now.
imposing that insurance, right? In India nowadays they become like crazy with behind those insurance stuff. And
Hmm.
I know India also changing, but yeah,
It's
yeah.
following
I don't
suit
know.
very closely, and
What
it's
is the
very
solution for this?
very fast.
Yeah.
And in India, it's not regulated also. That's why
Yeah.
it's very scary in India. Healthcare, if it goes the way that it is in India, in the US, um, uh, uh, in India, though people will run after money like crazy. The quality will never be there
Yeah.
when that much of money is pouring in.
yeah,
And
but
I have seen it firsthand. Just in 5 months, I have seen it, and it is very scary.
but it is much worse in the US, Maheshwari, much worse. Okay, because I get half of my medicines from Canada, and some of them come from India and Turkey and all that, and they are one third the price of what's in the US. US prices are completely out of control. Some of the medications are like almost $1,000 and all that you can't afford. I mean, of course, I have insurance, and that's the only reason I can afford. But I actually forego my insurance for some of the medicines and get it from Canada for full price, which is still one third the price of what insurance pays me. So if I'm paying $120 for a medication here, I get it for like $30 from Canada, which and the medication comes from India.
Hmm.
And it's the same quality, the same thing that they sell here. Like Crestor is Crestor, whether it's from India or here. And Indian medication is just as effective as it is here.
Hmm.
So the prices in US are like pharmaceuticals are like completely fleecing people left, right, and center.
Yeah, and no, what I mentioned was the India is also following suit.
Possible
It
that I
was
don't know.
better
I
now.
don't know
It's
what's
actually
happening in
running
India. Yeah, but
right.
but at least right now, what is like one third the price or even one fourth the price in India is like four times the price here. And some medications are like completely out of control. Like diabetic medications and all are like $1,000 and things like that. Because of insurance, you still get it for a pretty high price. You have to pay like $200 as opposed to $100,000. But just medications cost so much in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the two basic things: food stuff and medical care. They are keeping their hands there. That's what is making it very scary to retire. You don't know.
Yeah,
No,
everything
no,
has
and
gone up in price. And college tuition, I feel sad for the people who are, you have young children now. you
Yes.
know
That
i,
is-
I I can tell my when my daughter went to college, it was $30,000 a year. When my son went to college, it was $50,000 a year. Now it is like 75, $80,000 a year currently, and it probably is going to go up even more. Those kind of tuitions are like mind boggling, unless kids get some, even with what do you call scholarships and things like that, it's still very, very high. I've heard from people in this country, if you're very poor, then you get everything paid by the government. Or if you're very rich, you have plenty of money to take care of yourself. It's the middle class that suffers like anything in between, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, this is ongoing thing. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
No, but then the solace is King Prachina Barhishat or King Puranjana. They had included pious activities as part of their lifestyle, and I'm hoping that if we can include devotional service as part of our life won't be as miserable as being totally
Oh
materialistic.
yeah, of
This is
course.
the only
Yeah.
this is the best protection.
Yes, that is the
Don't think
best
about
protection. Yeah,
retirement or
not
money or anything.
insurance, not nothing, not your medication, not that.
Yeah.
This is the best. This is the best protection. That is completely true.
Yeah. So, so when I go for book distribution, if somebody asks me questions, now I'm fully equipped to answer. Better come to the devotional path. This is safer than any insurance or one
Completely true. Yes.
saved up money. Okay.
Thank you. That's a nice conclusion.
Yeah, I didn't want to end it on a very
Materialistic note.
yeah, and a very scary and pessimistic note.
Perfect.
Okay. Shall we stop here?
Yes, ma'am. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vacha
Kalpatarubyascha
kalpatarubhyascha kripa
kripasindubhya
sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All assembled devotees ki jai.
Maheshwari Mataji ki jai. Hare Krishna.